Many people had warned audiences about Billy Brown from Alaskan Bush People, claimed they could see through his carefully crafted image, and tried to make others realize who Billy truly was behind the cameras. To them, he was not the rugged, survivalist hero he pretended to be, but a man skilled at tricking people. For years, he deceived millions of viewers into believing a false identity. But now, the secrets are no longer hidden. His truth is out in the open for all to see. The question remains, what exactly did Billy do? What crime was he guilty of? Most importantly, did the law eventually catch up with him? Let's uncover the truth. Too many fans of Alaskan Bush People. Billy Brown was more than just a reality. Starhe was an idol. They admired how he presented himself as a devoted father and respected him as a natural-born leader who always showed up for his family. People admired his strength, his wisdom, and his survival skills. But what they did not know was that Billy carried a past filled with dark secrets. For these viewers, everything changed when the truth began to surface. Suddenly, the man they thought they knew was someone entirely different. Once the real story came out, many would never look at Billy or the show itself the same way again. Everything they had believed was built on lies. What you are about to learn will not only surprise you, it may even make you question all. The support and admiration you once gave to the series. How much disaster and deception was Billy truly responsible for? Keep watching, because the truth is more shocking than you can imagine. The show made it appear as if Billy and his family lived far away in the cold, isolated wilderness, struggling daily in a place untouched by modern comforts. But the reality was much different. The carefully maintained illusion was one of Billy's biggest secrets, and no matter how hard he tried, he could not keep it hidden forever. Someone was always watching, someone determined to find the truth. Behind the freezing winds and dense forests was a vigilant eye that refused to be fooled. And the secret they uncovered was something fans were not prepared for. Billy's story began long before the cameras. In a childhood that was anything but peaceful, unlike most kids who enjoyed carefree days, Billy's early years were marked by grief and unimaginable loss. At first, life seemed promising. He had a loving family and the warmth of parents who cared for him. But that happiness was shattered by tragedy. One day, while flying in their private family jet over Texas, Billy's parents and sister were caught in a violent thunderstorm. His father, desperate to save them, attempted an emergency landing on the beach of Lake Travis. He tried everything deploying the landing gear, restoring the power, but there was no time left. In a devastating crash, the plane nosedived just 20 feet from the shore. No one survived. That horrific moment ended Billy's childhood innocence forever. Losing both his parents and sister at such a young age left him broken and alone, forced to face a grief far too heavy for a child to carry. But the tragedy didn't end there. Billy soon found himself drawn into a different kind of nightmare: legal battles and betrayals that robbed him of the little stability he had left as a child. Billy was tricked into signing papers that emancipated him. He was too young to understand what it meant, too naive to know he was being deceived. The emancipation effectively cut him off from his parents' wealth, leaving him without access to his rightful inheritance. With no guardians to protect him, Billy was stripped of both family and financial security. His new home became a juvenile detention facility. At just 16 years old, Billy was thrust into a system that only deepened his pain and isolation. The betrayal cut deep. People he believed would protect him were actually only interested in his parents' fortune. They took everything, leaving Billy with nothing. By the time he turned 18, he was released from the facility, but there was nowhere for him to go. He had no family waiting for him, no home to return to. In his own words, Billy described that time simply: "I just left. I just walked for 10 years. I'd literally wandered the streets, not caring if I lived." He was depressed, lost, and suffocated by memories of Texas, a place that only reminded him of what he had lost. Desperate for change, Billy sought distance. He wanted to leave Texas behind and start fresh somewhere far away from the chaos, somewhere quiet and simple. His journey eventually took him to Alaska. Unlike the busy city life he left behind, Alaska was remote, wild, and cold, yet it was a place where Billy believed he could rebuild. While many people struggled to survive the harsh realities of Alaska, Billy had already endured the unthinkable. Compared to the heartbreak of his childhood, the Alaskan wilderness was just another challenge, one he was determined to conquer. Over time, he grew to love the place, spending more than 30 years there, embracing the adventure and resilience that life in Alaska demanded. But Billy's story didn't stay quiet. When the Discovery Channel gave him a platform with Alaskan Bush People, everything changed. The show portrayed him as the head of a family who lived off the land, surviving solely on their skills and strength in an isolated environment. Fans admired what they believed was an authentic portrait of resilience and family unity. Some even dreamed of trading places with him, imagining how exciting it must be to live free in the wilderness. Yet not everyone was convinced. From the beginning, some viewers suspected the show was scripted and exaggerated, and they were right. Much of what people saw in Alaskan Bush People was not reality, but carefully staged fiction. Browntown, the supposed Brown family homestead, was nothing more than a set-up prop for the cameras. The Browns never actually lived there. Neighbors later revealed that when filming ended, Billy and his family often stayed in comfortable lodges nearby, such as the Icy Strait Lodge in Hoonah or Misty Bay Lodge, while Browntown remained only a filming location. Even more shocking, Billy and his family didn't own property in Alaska at all. Once filming wrapped, they would vanish, leaving behind the illusion of a rustic life. But the lies went beyond staged sets. In 2000, Billy was caught committing fraud by applying for Alaska's permanent fund dividend, despite not meeting residency requirements. The fund was intended for Alaskan residents who lived in the state year-round. Billy, however, had spent far more time outside of Alaska than allowed but still applied, collecting thousands of dollars over 2 years. Eventually, the authorities discovered the deception, and Billy was charged in court. He admitted guilt and was ordered to repay over $6,000. Despite the controversy, Alaskan Bush People premiered in 2014, ran for 14 seasons until 2022. But the more people dug into Billy's life, the more they realized how much of it had been exaggerated or fabricated. From staged wolf encounters, where his children howled, to fake danger, to misleading gunshot incidents that turned out to be nothing more than fireworks, fans slowly began to feel betrayed. Perhaps the most shocking revelation of all was that Billy was never as isolated as the show claimed. Far from living in the wilderness with no neighbors, reports confirmed that over 2,500 people lived nearby, with road access and a town just 10 miles away. Even the pizza parlor that occasionally appeared in episodes was only half a mile from their location. Off-camera, the Brown family enjoyed modern comforts and social media. With Billy's children maintaining Instagram accounts, neighbors who lived near the Browns confirmed what critics suspected. Billy's rugged wilderness lifestyle was mostly an act. To them, he was not loyal, not honest, and far from the man his fans believed him to be. Even the family unity shown on screen was questionable. Behind the cameras, tensions and rifts existed within the family, contradicting the close bond that had become one of the show's biggest selling points. For fans, this was perhaps the hardest truth to accept. Fans have always been drawn to thrilling and adventurous experiences, and that is exactly what made Billy's life in the cold wilderness such a breath of fresh air. The show was filmed in Browntown, Hoonah, Alaska, a location that immediately captured the imagination of viewers. From its very first season, it received impressive ratings on IMDb and other well-known platforms, proving that audiences were fascinated by this unusual way of life. What truly grabbed their attention was the Brown family's raw and unfiltered journey. Their day-to-day adventures in the Alaskan wilderness became the foundation of a long-standing series that held its place on television for years. The cameras showcased the family's constant battle against the odds of nature, living in the cold forests of Alaska meant that every day brought new and often unexpected challenges. Some mornings, the Browns would wake up to unpredictable and even dangerous situations. Fans were always eager to see how they would face these trials. Everyone knew Alaska was far from an easy place to live. It was not just a city, but one of the harshest environments in the world. Yet the Browns welcomed this life with open arms. They lived happily with the bare minimum, never worrying about modern comforts. Instead, they embraced the peace, quiet, and even the unforgiving cold and snowy wilderness, turning it into their true home. The show not only made Billy Brown a household name, but also elevated his net worth to an all-time high. Together, with several family members, he participated in the show for a remarkable 8 years. Over that time, Alaskan Bush People aired 14 seasons before finally coming to an end. Each season seemed to outdo the one before, as the Browns found creative ways to keep their audience entertained. Even if it sometimes meant adding pretenses or scripted scenes. Still, much of the show revolved around the chaotic energy of Billy's family. Over the years, viewers witnessed more than just survival stories. They also saw heated family fights, some of which escalated to the point of involving the police and even restraining orders. This naturally raised curiosity. Who exactly were the members of the Brown family, and just how intense were their feuds? Among them, Noah Brown, one of Billy's sons, stood out as a fan favorite. Viewers admired Billy for his survival skills, but Noah quickly earned his own reputation for being exceptional. He wasn't just learning from his father. Noah consistently pushed himself to improve. This determination made him stand apart from his siblings. Known as the family's inventor, Noah was remarkably skilled with machines and gadgets. Fans loved watching him use his creativity to overcome challenges and solve practical problems in the wilderness. His calm demeanor, intelligence, and unique way of thinking endeared him to audiences who saw in him someone truly special. His passion for adventure shone through in every episode. Whether in the sparkle of his eyes during a new challenge or in the quiet moments where he worked tirelessly to figure out solutions. Born on July 18, 1992, Noah was the youngest son from the original series. When the show began, he was only 22 years old, and fans watched him mature into adulthood before their very eyes. His resilience stood out. No matter how difficult Alaska's harsh conditions became, Noah always managed to find a way through. His constant use of tools and his ability to take apart and reassemble engines in minutes turned him into a tech expert within his family. This made him a crucial figure in the Browns' survival, as they could always rely on him to navigate tough situations. Despite not receiving formal education, Noah's practical knowledge and hands-on skills prepared him perfectly for life in the wilderness. On top of his brilliance, Noah was also known for his kind nature and love for the outdoors. Fans appreciated his wisdom and his ability to see beyond the surface of things. His role in the show not only brought him recognition, but also financial reward, earning him $65,000 annually as a cast member. With a growing net worth in the thousands, he carved out a successful career as a television personality. However, despite this fame, it became increasingly clear to many fans that Noah was not completely happy. Controversies began to swirl around him, including rumors that he might not be biologically related to the rest of Billy's children. People noted he looked different and seemed to share an unusually close bond with Billy. Things grew even more complicated after Noah married. It's always private by nature. He disliked the attention that came with fame. And while he tried to keep his personal life off camera, it proved to be nearly impossible. In 2018, Noah married his longtime love, Rain Alicia. In a private ceremony in Las Vegas, she seemed to be his perfect match and understanding his lifestyle, loving Alaska, and supporting his adventurous spirit. Together, they welcomed their first child, a son named Elijah, marking a joyful new chapter for the Brown family. Later, in 2021, they celebrated the birth of their second son, Adam, for Noah. This family life brought him happiness and stability, at least on the surface. Unfortunately, Rain never truly fit in with the rest of the Brown clan. Billy's daughters, especially Birdie and Rain Brown, strongly disliked her presence and often kept their distance. Although they tried to hide their disapproval in front of cameras, the tension was clear. They viewed Rain as an outsider, partly because she grew up in Oregon, and they refused to accept her as one of them. Noah tried to ease the situation, even naming Birdie as his son Elijah's godmother, but his efforts fell short. The constant tension pushed Rain to suggest leaving Alaska altogether. Noah eventually agreed, relocating his family to Colorado, which led fans to speculate that the move was due to family conflicts. Noah denied these claims publicly, stating that the decision came after the Palmer Mountain wildfire and was simply about finding a fresh start for his children. However, it's not long after, Noah and Rain shocked fans once again by announcing their separation. In a heartfelt video, the couple explained they were choosing to part ways amicably without bitterness for the sake of their children. Fans were stunned but not surprised, as many had long suspected the ongoing family conflicts played a role. After the separation, Noah lived in a guest cabin while Rain stayed with their children. Setting boundaries around his visits, things escalated further when Noah accused his sister Rain of making violent threats against his family, even alleging she once visited his home, armed. He sought a restraining order against her, but the court dismissed the request, citing insufficient grounds. The revelation shocked fans, shedding light on just how strained family dynamics had become. Rain wasn't the only Brown family member. Surrounded by controversy, Rain Brown, the youngest of Billy's children, developed a reputation for being rebellious and difficult to control.
All reports of substance use
And visits to rehab facilities only fueled her image as one of the most controversial figures. Rumors even swirled about her and her partner, Josiah Lorton, facing legal trouble involving burglary and trespassing, though the truth behind these claims remained unclear. Matthew Brown, Billy's eldest son, also contributed his share of drama. Struggling with substance issues, Matthew openly accused his parents of introducing him to drugs and exposed behind-the-scenes secrets, claiming much of the show was staged. Eventually, he left the series altogether. Sparking further questions about Billy's parenting, the family faced endless headlines of scandal. But the biggest blow came in 2022 with the unexpected death of Billy Brown. At the age of 68, Billy suffered a fatal seizure and heart attack at home. Despite medics performing CPR and calling in an emergency helicopter, he could not be revived. The family released a statement expressing heartbreak over the loss of their patriarch, describing him as a loving husband, father, and grandfather who had lived life on his own terms, teaching them to do the same. Fans across the world mourned. Alongside them, offering words of comfort and support, though Billy left behind a powerful legacy of resilience and survival. His passing marked the beginning of the end for the show. Without him, the Browns struggled to maintain their place on the Discovery Channel. To make matters worse, Billy's former business partner, Robert Mon, launched a legal battle over the Brown family estate, dragging the family and the network into financial disputes and unwanted scrutiny. The controversy pushed Discovery to cancel Alaskan Bush People, bringing the series to a close after 14 dramatic seasons.